High up in the Andean clouds of Peru rises a city that was not meant to be. For more than a century, Machu Picchu was referred to as a palace, a fortress, a temple. What if all we supposed about this magnificent treasure turned out to be false? In the year 2025, researchers found a secret that was buried beneath its stones for 500 years. And once you understand it, you'll never view this miracle the same way again. Stick with me, for the last revelation will surprise you. If this kind of story touches your heart, if you're someone who cares about truth, responsibility, and speaking up for the voiceless, please like this video, subscribe to our channel Spark Science, and share it with someone who should hear it. Let's get started. Yale professor Hiram Bingham hacked his way through the dense bush of the Andes in 1911 and discovered ruins that surprised the entire world. The city appeared to defy gravity because it was constructed upon a very slender ridge 2,430 meters above sea level. Terraces protruded over boulders, temples peered over sheer cliffs, and stone walls ascended vertical from the clouds. On the outside, it appeared as if it had remained unchanged, as if time had overlooked it. Bingham believed he had discovered the fabled, lost city of the Incas, but the people of Quechua who dwelled there had never forgotten about it. But from the beginning, the site left more questions than it provided answers. Machu Picchu was not linked with the rest of the kingdom by broad roads like other Inca cities were. There were no indications of thriving trade lines, congested markets, or big family neighborhoods. Its gardens were lovely, but they were too small to provide food for many people. It did not appear to be a crowded city so much as a jigsaw puzzle carved out of stone. Experts found it difficult to comprehend this paradox. Why would the Incas construct a lovely building in a location so distant and treacherous? The hill it sits on is unstable and narrow, with cliffs that fall nearly 500 meters into the Urubamba River on all sides. The hills surrounding are steep and rocky, and they are not suitable for mass agriculture. The decision was illogical for a kingdom known to be efficient and proficient in logistics. The tale became even weirder as the 20th century progressed. The temples aligned perfectly with the solstices and the moon's phases. The walls are so snug that even a blade of grass could not pass through the cracks. Everything indicated that the ceremony was significant, but nothing addressed the most important question: why were they there? Rather than making things clearer, the study made things more baffling. Bingham's discovery complicated matters further. He brought hundreds of artifacts to Yale, resulting in a 100-year ownership dispute with Peru. His use of the term to describe the location as discovered contributed to a Western narrative that suppressed indigenous memory. Outside information from foreigners was more significant than local knowledge. Even from its beginning, Machu Picchu's identity was defined by how outsiders perceived it. Geography made the paradox even larger. Machu Picchu and Huayna Picchu are two steep hills that tower between the city. The city is on a ridge created by the river's continuous flow. The roads that led to it twisted through dense cloud forests and steep rocks. It lacked significant trade routes like the capital, Cusco, did. In a society based on connections, the site seemed like it was meant to be difficult. Being so remote in time and space created real challenges. It had to have been hell providing laborers with food, implements, and stone. The hillside terraces could cultivate crops but not sufficient quantities for thousands of individuals to reside there permanently. Transporting enormous rock slabs without the use of wheels or workhorses made the accomplishment all the more remarkable. Machu Picchu should not have been feasible from an engineer's perspective. It was also obvious what the dangers were. It rains nearly 2,000 millimeters in the region every year, which leads to floods and erosion. There was no margin for error because the cliffs dropped away in sheer drops. If you lose your footing on the trails, you can be killed. Rain endangered foundations and made even the strongest built steps less secure. In every sense, this was the last place a city should have been constructed. Evidence for this exists in archaeology. Machu Picchu does not appear to have been occupied year-round. Most of the bones discovered are those of servants and workers, rather than family units. This gives the impression that the site was not a permanent city center. Its threat and isolation give the impression that it was constructed for another purpose. Why construct here at all if it was not beneficial? The Inca were masters of plotting things. They could coordinate tens of thousands of laborers and construct roads where terrain would otherwise hinder them. They wasted nothing. Machu Picchu did not resemble a misstep so much as one design choice that for whatever reason was made. What if the rocks under Machu Picchu hold a tale older and weirder than the tourist-tramped ruins that visitors climb annually? Scholars and archaeologists have been seeking cultural significance in the temples, the terraces, and the stonework of Machu Picchu for over a century. But all changed when the geologists joined the researchers in 2025. The research was conducted by Brazilian researcher Rualdo Menegat, who employed equipment normally utilized to investigate earthquakes. They did not question who constructed the city and why, but rather what was happening beneath the ground. That single change in perspective unraveled mysteries that have been baffling specialists for decades. Geologists searched for geological explanations whereas archaeologists examined artifacts. They observed the rock beneath the city and how it shifted. With images from outer space, they discovered hidden fault lines. Ground-penetrating radar revealed what was beneath the surface, and electrical resistivity tested the path of electricity through cracks. They were even able to peer into the core of the mountain using a method called muon tomography that utilizes cosmic rays to scan. Each process led to the same conclusion. Not only does Machu Picchu perch atop a mountain, but it also rests where two enormous earthquake systems converge, creating a gigantic natural X. It wasn't an accident. Science proposed for the first time that the Incas might have chosen this location due to the cracks, not because they disliked it. Fault lines are viewed today by engineers as indicators of danger. There were opportunities for the Incas. The natural X was not a mere sign. Cracks created routes that permitted rainwater to run through the mountain, and that is how the city's renowned drainage system continues to function. The Incas did not battle rivers, they employed cracks in the mountains as plumbing instead. Torrents of rain that might have destroyed the site washed it away harmlessly, leaving terraces and foundations that will endure for centuries. The weakness of the rock ended up being its strength. This natural collaboration can also be observed in stonework. Much of the blocks weren't transported from afar, they were splintered right off the broken bedrock beneath. Cracks in nature provided seams ready to use, which simplified cutting large granite stones. The rocks within the mountain permitted an ingenious utilization of what appeared to be hard work. The earth itself was both material and technique. Even sacred structures were aligned with such cracks. Some structures were constructed along fault lines, as if they were working according to a grid that the ground could not perceive. There was no possibility in this selection. The fact that they projected their spiritual and functional regions onto natural lines of force indicates that the Incas borrowed the mountain as their model. They were not resisting nature, rather, they were cooperating with it. Geologists tell us that cracks also made the city more resilient. When there is an earthquake, hard rock can rupture but fractured rock dissipates the shaking energy. The Incas may have protected Machu Picchu from earthquakes by constructing on fractured terrain. What appeared to be a hazard proved to be a means of survival. This new knowledge alters the way we consider where the city is situated. Historians previously believed that Machu Picchu was chosen due to its position or lines of trade. Geology now demonstrates that it was chosen to harness the energy in the rock. The Incas did not disregard risk, they prepared for it. The Incas perceived faults as potentialities, whereas modern-day engineers perceive them as issues. This is demonstrated by water control. Such heavy rains in the Andes might have washed away the place. But the cracks functioned as veins, pulling additional water into channels that were regulated. The stone drains did not prevent erosion, rather, they improved what the mountain did naturally. That connection is what has sustained Machu Picchu for hundreds of years of storms. There is also the ethical aspect. The Inca considered mountains as sacred beings that were abundant with power. It was not only convenient to construct where two earthquake lines intersect, it was also symptomatic of something. The large X beneath Machu Picchu united the land, the sky, and humans in one location. Geologists might have regarded cracks in the ground as sacred crossings for the Incas. This also brings more accuracy to the stonework. Researchers for centuries did not know how massive chunks of stone were cut so accurately. The solution lies within the rock itself. Rock cracks made it simple to work stones without having to use complex equipment. The intelligence of using nature design was what appeared to be a lost art. In this manner,